Hi there. This video is a little bit different. So I found an old piece of hi-fi knocking about in my mum's loft, garage loft, and it's this thing here, which is a Sony separate thing. So this has been floating around for ages, and I don't have the separate stack. I can't remember ever having a separate stack. I think I had one module, which was a battery module, so you could actually have a portable unit. But I've no idea where the rest of it's gone. But it's a really nice little tuner. It's a lovely little form factor. It's very nice. These come with a standard sort of well, I say standard, a proprietary connector. I mean, for the standard Sony rack system. There's like a ribbon cable that went from one unit to the other. So you had obviously the tuner, you had a tape deck, a graphic equalizer, all that kind of stuff, as was the wont at that time. That's missing. So I think when I was a kid, I was messing around with that. Had an intention to rig it up, whatever, but I didn't do anything else with it. The aerial was missing. Standard sort of FM, I think it's FM, medium wave, long wave, yeah. And yeah, it's just really, really nice. So I think now is about time to see whether we can get some life out of this thing. Let's take a look. So let's take the back off. In fact, you may have noticed the screws are actually not in there. They've kind of disappeared long ago. And it's given there's some information on the side here. So FM, you move that array. So it's model number ST58. FM long wave, AM doesn't tell you much else, because of course this is a proprietary connector which is no longer with us. So yeah, as I say, the aerial's gone, but the FM antenna can be put there, and you've got the ground, and you've got the medium wave and long wave antenna there. So that's actually pretty good. You don't need that. We can rig something up. As I recall, I think it's quite sensitive, but I don't know. We'll see. So, no screws required. Just comes straight off, which is really handy. So here's the inside of it. Now, this is a bit dusty and a bit near, but everything else I think should work. So this is where it was left. There's obviously a connector there that I chopped off at some point. I have had a quick look. In full disclosure, I have had a quick look, and I think it's going to be easy to reverse engineer. So if we do some continuity testing, move this that way, move it to that one side, and there's the meter there. We can have a look at things. So colour coding, maybe it's right, I don't know. Let's have a look. Look at that connector there. That is suspiciously cool. Suspiciously, because there's 4 leads, so that could be plus minus voltage, or ground and plus volts, and then the other one would be the ground would then be commoned to the audio output. So it could be that blue is ground and red is plus volts. It could be. That was my initial guess. So if we take a look at this and we test that, one thing I noticed when looking around the board, just got to find my glasses, the ever-present magnifiers. Taking a look on the board, it was interesting because Sony being Sony, they were amazing with the way they do stuff. There's a lot of information on the board itself, so it's really cool. There's a lot of test points, and if I move that out of the way a little bit, you can see here it said, let's see if I can show you. See here it says GND TP. I think that's a ground test point. So on the blue wire, do we get continuity? Yeah, we flipping do. That's amazing. Next to that, there's also TP plus 10 volts. So could that be the supply voltage? Yes, it flipping is, which is extraordinary. I had a look online for some of the pinouts and stuff for the chips, because you know these are pretty standard chips. And there's a chip there which is LA1260, which is FM AM tuner system, and it's like a standard package. And on that, there's also on the pinouts on pin 4 and pin 6, there is the ground and what we're trying to say, yeah. So the ground and the plus volts, the VCC. So if I go to ground again on there, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my meter's not set right. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe there's a bit more resistance than I expected. Well, 9k, maybe not. Maybe that's not a good test. What about plus? Which I think is pin 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's some connectivity. The resistances are a lot higher on the other one, so you never know. Could it just work? That says 10 volts. I happen to have a 9 volt power supply that I recently reconditioned, and that could be that could work. So there's a bit of a Heath Robinson affair on this connector, but that's 0. That's ground. So if I move that way a little bit, and I'm going to have to find something. Right, I'm going to use this thing. The helping hands it's going to be off camera, unfortunately, because it's not quite big enough to hold everything. That's it. And that one is 9 volts. So, okay, that's good. Ah! I knew it wasn't going to be as easy as that, especially when you get it trapped over a flaming tuner coil. Right, okay. Let's put that back in there. Let's move this way a little bit. Okay. So let's keep an eye on that, which is there's some indicator lights. Oh, something happened. There you go. We got a light on. That's good. So 9 volts is probably enough to power the unit. I can't see any smoothing or anything like that. I mean, you wouldn't really need it because, you know, there's some inductors and bits and pieces, but there shouldn't be much in the way of power conditioning, because obviously it's part of a known power supply will be somewhere else. You know, this should be fed decent stuff. So, in the best traditions of television, here's one I prepared earlier, which is it's actually a phono with a bunch of horrible crocodile clips, and I've got an amplifier. You can hear that. So this one's going to be ground, and this one is going to be on one of the other leads. Let's try that one. Oh, hey! Wow, how can it be that easy? Seriously? Wow, that's really cool. Let's turn it up a bit. There's no antenna on there. That's with the stereo muting off, so that's in mono. If I put that on, it gets a bit more hissy because that's now in stereo mode. and it's actually locked on to stereo. You can see that light up. If I do that, it goes off, and it improves the quality, but you get it in mono. That's pretty good. Bit abstract for me, that. Bit of Welsh. Bali da. Anything a bit more upbeat? No. So there's no aerial. Maybe it's suffering a bit. Needs something attached on there. Tell you what, I'm going to put another clip on there. So that's my crappy aerial. It's just a bit of wire.
He says the wait is already
That's better.
too long.
Whilst it is being delayed and we're waiting months. Oh, weird.
So let's try medium wave. Wrong wave. It's never going to get decent signal in here, I've got to be honest.
What we do today.
Wow, that's really cool.
Though, moving on,
I'm quite impressed with the quality on that. Brilliant. So now, what we've got to do, I've got to figure out how I'm going to make this good, make this into a usable system. So I don't know which way round those audio connectors are. I'll just make a note of what it is. Blue, ground, red. What's the other ones? Yellow. And, well, what is the other one? White. Is audio, and it seems to be phono RCA, phono level. So now we've got our key, which is cool. It's a case of reviewing the next step, which is how I'm gonna. God, so many cables. Let me just move this out of the way. How I'm gonna rig it up in a more permanent way, because obviously that's no good. That sort of at the back is no good. This was a custom housing, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. But it would be nice if I could make something for a cover or something for that. There was actually holes on that other side, so in theory, even though that side it actually has there's like a keyway there. I wonder. Oh, there was a hole there. Maybe I could make something and actually have the hole there. Yeah, I'm thinking it'd be nice to have RCA plugs coming out of it, phono plugs, but perhaps it's probably easier if I get a stereo jack and either a barrel socket or something like that for power, and then I can bung the power in and job done. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm chuffed to bits with that. I don't know about the power. This particular power supply has a 7809 power regulator on it, and I might actually got to do something with that power supply and change it. So I'm wondering whether if I change this to 12 volts, but just bear with me a sec. If I change this to 12 volts coming in, I've got dozens of those power supplies knocking about, barrel jack, whatever, and then it's installed in here because there's loads of space knocking about. I could actually mount the power regulator board that I've built for this power supply. I can mount it in here, so the incoming 12 volt supply then gets regulated to 9 volts, and it will be nice and smooth. If I just put any old power supply in here, it's probably going to be quite badly distorted because I don't think there's much in the way of smoothing. This also needs a massive clean. But yeah, so that'll be the next step. Trying to figure out how to physically put the sockets on there and possibly introduce a power regulator. And then we've got a really cute little radio. I'm not entirely sure how useful it is, but I love the form factor, and yeah, it could probably sit on top of my Marantz stack, and you know, it will be much loved. I don't listen to the radio a great deal. I've actually got a very nice Rotel radio, sort of, you know, a separate. It's a really good bit of kit. I don't use that either. It's been in storage for years because, you know, you stream stuff or CDs or whatever it is. But I just love the aesthetic. It's very much of its time, and that's not a bad thing. I actually really like it, and I really don't want it to go to the tip. So I think for the sake of a little bit of jiggling around, we might be able to upcycle it into something quite funky. So yeah, cool. See you next time.